Can you give us a framework to understand the tech maturity of a store?
Right. One is operational tech that helps with the day-to-day operations of a store. Second is the customer-facing tech that is used directly by the customers in the store. So the most basic tech that every store needs is a digital POS. Then you have your CRM system. Then you have inventory management systems and your ERP at the store.
Tell me something about Try-On.
Try-On has been a great piece of technology that a lot of retailers have had. Eyewear category, many people have been doing it for decades. I had a chat with Dhruv of Pan Project where I went to their store. He's built an application that can help you not only try on but also do sizing. So it gives you're able to see color but also fit of whatever product you're looking for.
What does Tango Eye as a solution do for a retailer?
You can think of us as the Google Analytics for the offline stores, where it's a central monitoring system which sits on the existing camera hardware and runs an entire intelligence network in the backend that helps you understand how to improve sales and conversions at stores.
If you could double down how you do it.
We stream 10,000 plus cameras data on a daily basis, and we have our AI layer that creates a digital twin of what's happening in the store in the cloud, and then we were able to get all sorts of insights from this digital twin.
Tell me some mistakes people do when thinking about operational tech.
A lot of customers spend a ton of time and money and energy in trying to compare and do a lot of trials. There's a big push to get the latest product and try it in a brand or a store. But I think there is a lesser push when it comes to using that data in driving actions within the brands to actually improve conversion or improve service quality.
And how did you get your first customer in this space?
Most retail brands consistently reported they had lack of.
Welcome to a fresh episode of Dilse Omni Talk. Today we are in Chennai and we are recording in the office of Tango Eye. Today's topic is very interesting, is about omni-channel tech, but it's not online tech. It's more about understanding the tech used in offline stores. With me joining is Suren, who's the founder of Tango Eye. And I had the privilege of working with Suren over a couple of projects in the last 4-5 years, and I've learned a lot from him. So I thought, to understand offline tech, who better than Suren? Welcome to Dilse Omni Talks, Suren, and looking forward to learning from you.
Thanks, Saurabh. Welcome to Chennai. Pleasure to host you here. And looking forward to a great conversation around retail tech and what retailers can look at when they think of technology in today's world to better their business and customer experience.
Amazing. Suren, I would love to understand your journey into starting an omni-channel tech company, especially for offline.
Yeah.
Especially when you come from an investment banking background working in US. But how did it not go to an e-commerce or an online tech, but it went into an offline tech journey? So would love to hear your story first.
Absolutely. I think it was probably 2017, 18. I was still probably one of the last graduate batches that wanted to go into finance, right? I think after that, most people wanted to go into FANG, and now the whole AI wave is there. So I was in Wall Street. I was at a trading floor at a large investment bank. And what really stood out to me was the evolution or the uptake of AI and technology, even from those days. I saw a lot of tasks and what we used to do as traders or operational folks at the bank were getting automized or getting digitized in the process. And that led me down a path of discovery and really diving into technology. And I discovered a couple of things, right, that are still the founding pillars of what I ended up doing. One of them is camera technology, basically visual AI. So the power of visual data and what visual data means to a compute system and being able to take decisions on top of that was super exciting, because up until then you only had the user interface such as like a prompt interface or a GUI that you could interact with the compute system. Now you have a new set of data which comes in, and a lot can be done. That was super exciting.
So, which year did you come back to India after your experience in the trading floor?
So this was 2017 when I moved
Okay.
back to India. 2017.
And then you were excited about the vision technology. So,
Absolutely. I
from
was
there to starting Tango Eye, what went in the background?
so again to go on to think about why Tango Eye and why not an online opportunity as well. At that point, I realized, online is still in the single digits of commerce, right? If you
Yeah.
think of overall commerce, online is still in the single digits, but it's overly talked about. If you think about mind space percentage, online will be, majority versus offline, but actual transactions probably only single digits versus offline. And what that meant is there was overcrowding in the online space. People were trying to solve problems that were, already solved for in many ways, in my opinion. And the offline was neglected, right? Offline was largely neglected, where there was still an opportunity to even provide information, which was not readily available in offline stores. If you think of India alone, there's 15 million offline retail outlets, and that's just India, right? So there is a massive opportunity globally in terms of offline retail.
So, then you shortlisted that vision technologies where you want to go in.
Yeah, I think these two became the kind of pillars or the interest areas to focus on, and how you use vision technology in retail kind of became our hunting grounds for what are the problem statements retailers are facing, and how do we solve for that.
And how did you get your first customer in this space?
This is actually very interesting. So I was uh, we set out to take this technology and this problem statement. We went out and spoke to retailers. So we went out to not the C-level folks at that point, but we went to stores. We talked to a lot of store managers to understand what are the problem statements. The one thing that came out in this conversation is that most retail brands consistently reported or consistently mentioned that they had a lack of information, lack of accurate information that they can use to drive decisions on a day-to-day basis, right? And this information was largely around customers and what customers were doing within their stores.
Got it. And how did the name Tango Eye came in?
Tango Eye was just a synergy of data, and to keep it simple, right? I think
And
that
I
was
is the vision.
and I is the vision. Yes, yes.
Great. So, tell me, other pieces. Did you pivot in this journey? You said, okay, Tango Eye had a vision thing to measure
Yeah.
footfall and store operations. Did you pivot sometimes in this journey?
Absolutely. I think every entrepreneur, every founder has to be nimble and ready to pivot. But our pivots came in slightly deeper, right, where it's not visible to the naked eye. For example, we started out with a hardware play, right? We were looking to do this entire product on the edge, where we were looking to make our own small compute device that would connect to a camera and work on this, right? Because one when we think of offline, hardware is a big part of this, right? Where in software you have a code error. In hardware, you can have anything from a lighting issue to camera issue to your edge device failing, and then you're left to blame in terms of, okay, your product doesn't deliver. So we looked at doing this on the edge with a hardware device, but quickly realized there are a lot of pitfalls when it comes to building edge-based solution that can scale. And then we pivoted and we built this as a cloud-based solution that can plug and play into any camera that's out there today, which has helped us in scaling and moving faster with the brands that we work with.
So, Suren, if you could explain in simple words, what does Tango Eye as a solution do for a retailer?
So Tango Eye basically helps brands improve store sales and conversions. You can think of us as the Google Analytics for the offline stores, where it's a central monitoring system which sits on the existing camera hardware, and runs an entire intelligence network in the backend that helps you understand how to improve sales and conversions at stores.
If you could double down how you do it.
This is where the large orchestration of our data and our product come in, where we stream 10,000 plus cameras data on a daily basis, and we understand. We have our AI layer that creates a digital twin of what's happening in the store in the cloud, and then we were able to get all sorts of insights from this digital twin. Think of store performance as footfall, conversion, and AOV. And AOV is largely fixed. Brands don't move that around too much. And then footfall is also largely fixed. But what you don't know is the actual footfall, and how you can improve this conversion is by influencing the entire conversion journey.
It's an interesting point, Suren, you brought in. And let me just share my experience on footfall. So, footfall, if I see, is influenced by two things. Okay, there is a natural footfall coming. Say there is a wedding season, there is natural footfall there, and then there is a brand influence footfall. Say you are running an exchange program of freebies, so people will come into the store. But to be honest, what I've seen is you can hardly influence the footfall beyond 5 to 10%. By good VM and all you can do, but footfall is not much controllable. If you have created a brand, then it's coming in. But conversion is where the game lies. What are things which I can do to improve conversion? Uh, have you seen that impact coming in your customers?
Absolutely. That's why we're here for the last 5, 6 years. And I think the first thing it starts with knowing, right? Seeing is knowing. So, first is being able to track footfall and what your starting metrics are like. And then we go into how do you actually improve conversion, right? So, we have seen several scenarios. So, typically we find the root cause of lower conversion. This can be manpower issue, whether it's the right manpower or staffing at the right time. This can be a merchandise issue, whether it's planogramming or placement within the store. You'll see oftentimes certain products do well in one particular store but not always another store. Then we can also go into compliance issues, so around store cleanliness and staff attentiveness in the store. So we have had great success stories where brands have taken some of these tools to reprioritize the staff and improve the conversion by 2 to 3 percentage points.
So let me share you my example. One of the brands I was talking to them and they're saying we have a store sales problem. I said, why don't you invest in a footfall monitoring system? Uh, I was not biased to Tango Eye. But what he said, yeah, we are monitoring footfall. I said, how are you monitoring footfall? And he said, our security guard counts the number of people. So for a person like this, what is your pitch that what is the additional customer insights you provide them, which is beyond what the guy at the store is counting on that monitoring, that simple counter? Like, how is it better than that?
Yeah, so first thing first, I think the incentives oftentimes are not aligned, right? Where central teams and store don't align on what is the footfall number. So in almost every retail brand that I've worked with, if we look at what the store team says is the footfall number versus what is actually the walk-ins in a store, it typically is at least 2 to 3 times the walk-in that stores consider, right?
So stores consider more or you consider more?
Stores consider less.
You count one person as 2 feet or 1 feet?
So stores consider less, where typically you ask a security guard, or a person that's there to pick up the footfall. It's only half of what walk-in they had. This is because they want to work backwards from a conversion number that they actually achieved.
Okay.
Right. So you're not optimizing for what you can do, but really you're setting a goal based on what your outcomes are, which I think is counterproductive for a lot of brands, and brands are unaware of this largely.
So how do you just help me understand this metric called footfall?
Mhm. So what this is basically like the number of visits in your web page, right? So let's say you're building an online conversions funnel where you want to look at the number of people that land on your website and all the CTAs from there, right? And think of footfall as a first metric. It's the number of people that land into your store, and what happens from there is the entire conversion funnel. And we can look at conversion either through time engagement or product engagement within the store. So let's say we start with 100 people that walked into a store, right? How we help brands demystify this is, out of 100, you have 10 people who were employees or staff personnel that were removed from that equation. Now you're left with 90, right? 90 also you can further break down, where you will probably have 20 people in that group that were basically bounced. So they were there for maybe asking them where is the restroom or where is the nearest parking spot or something of that sort, where they are not your potential buyers. Then you have 70 folks. Out of those 70 folks, you will also have scenarios where people come in a family pack of 2 or 3, where walk-ins are 2 or 3, but the bills are going to be only 1. So we can further bring that down to about 40, right? So your true potential buyers is what we call them, is 40 walk-in into that store who are true potential buyers. Then we can further look at the funnel by based on engagement within the store, by time and which products do they actually visit, which aisles do they visit, and all the way down to the conversion that they bring into the store.
So you mentioned conversion. So if you could talk about now, how do I look at, say, 100 people walked in and 15 people bought? Okay, so how do you define 15 by 100 or 15 by 40 in this case?
That's a great question, because we can choose whichever metric we want to look at. I would suggest we look at a metric that's based on the engagers, because that's the true level of engagement that brands are getting, and that is where the customer service comes into play. Right, that's when brands have the opportunity to say, "Hey, I am interested in your brand. I'm looking to purchase something here. Now, sell me." Right, and which is where I think brands have the ability and store staff have the ability to convert a customer.
Hmm. Great. So Suren, tell me, in this journey of last 4-5 years working with Tango, what type of customers, brands have you worked with?
So we are in about 10,000 stores today, across 50, 60 brands globally. This, you know, we start by working with one of the leading eyewear brands. We work with jewelry brands. Uh, we work with a lot of cosmetic brands as well.
And is it mostly in India or outside also?
It's spread across. So we work with duty free retailing in Singapore. We work with grocery stores in the UAE. So it's a mixed bag.
Okay. And is your solution mostly towards small format or large format, or how is it?
Which that's been an interesting discovery. So we work with formats that are small as well as large format brands. So this what happens is the use cases tend to differ. We while we work with small format brands, the use case is typically around footfall and conversion. In large format brands, the use case evolves into looking at aisle level productivity, merchandise level productivity. You can think of it as a shop in shop in that scenario.
Okay, it's something like, if I have to draw laterals between online and say footfall conversion tool, monitoring tool, it's like your middle funnel. So people come to the website, then they visit the category pages, or
Exactly.
and then
Yeah.
they go to add to cart, and then they finally
Exactly.
go and buy. In fact, interestingly, I was talking to Numi's founder, and he was telling very interesting way they look at footfall. So they definitely look at people coming to footfall, but for them the very important is how many people go for trials. So Numi, as you might be aware of, they are a modern age fast fashion brand. Now they are opening a lot of very interesting stores for Gen Zs, and they look at store to trial room conversion first, and then trial room to the final conversion.
Absolutely.
So the more trials happen, the better it is. And from trial room to the final conversion. If there is a problem, it becomes a product problem.
Yeah.
So that was a very interesting way. I thought.
That's an interesting way to look at their funnel, and we do these customizations where we look at the brand's customer journey right within the store and map the conversion funnel accordingly. So we do this for another apparel retailer to understand walk-ins, trials, and then conversions from the trials.
So tell me, do we also get some demographics about the customer who's coming in? Like, what do we learn more about the person?
Absolutely. So what we talked about so far is quantifiable metrics that are sort of good to have. Now we can also look at qualitative metrics and understand who's actually walking into the store. If you're an apparel brand, are you getting more women customers or male customers? And based on that, you can look at how to merchandise your store. So we can look at basic demographics such
Look at
as
age buckets.
and gender profiles. We can also look at slightly deeper demographics, such as what style of clothing are they wearing? Are they a Gen Z customer or a different? You can profile the customers accordingly.
So you can tell me what is the Gen Z style of clothing so that I can start wearing it. Yeah,
Well, we'll let the AI do that.
yeah, that can be figured out. But yeah, this is the demographics is one thing which I noticed in one of the brands I was working with is they saw that in certain stores they wanted to launch more kids and scale up the kids collection, and they noticed that not all stores are equally selling kids.
Yeah.
And it could be two problems: are we getting enough kids into the store, or do they have enough merchandise for the store in the kids?
Yeah.
So it was a chicken and egg problem. But when we looked at the data of kids demographics entering the store, which is little deeper than the group footfall, we said, okay, these are the stores which are having more footfalls of kids. So can we double down on the aisle space for kids, and that saw an uptick there.
Yeah. That's an interesting problem statement because after you've established your network of stores, right, as a retailer, you basically have a distribution channel, which then when you have a new product, you have to decide where do you put your product, right? That's where a tool like this can also come and play, where you understand what type of customers are walking into a particular store, where it's almost like you target your launch based on the demographics in that particular store.
Yeah. So let me summarize our discussion on how Tango Eye kind of helps in my words. So Tango Eye is the Google Analytics, as you said, for offline, which gives you a bird's eye view of what's happening into the store, but also zooms in into the traffic which is coming. And is it the employee traffic or it's the real footfall? Are people coming in individuals or they're coming in groups? Which type of people, elderly, young, kids are coming in? With that information, looking at the eye and the movement in the store, one can know about what they are doing and plan their merchandise, look at their conversion, look at what's happening. And I love the interesting part of the dwell time, which you mentioned, that people come and bounce. Like on your visit, like,
Right.
is it general traffic which is coming?
Yeah.
Tell me one thing, do you have anything in this also? Because a lot of these stores are driven by staff interaction.
Mm.
Okay, the quality of interaction drives, like, I'll tell you one interesting part. In some stores, you know what they say? They'll say, I'll see the face and I can tell whether this person will buy or not.
Mm.
And they don't even serve the customer.
Yeah.
So is there something which you do on this part also?
I think that that ethos was there when it's a, let's say, a owner runs shops, right? Typically, that's how retailing was done historically. But what we've done is, we've looked at what are operational tech that is important as a brand where the owner or somebody who's a business owner is not there, right? We have developed key metrics around this. So for example, we assist to non-assist. So did you assist a customer or did you not? And what is the time to assist a customer? So, and these are metrics that we have developed to help in this.
Okay. So I'm sure, I also have worked with you in pushing you to create metrics. So a lot of these metrics must have come not from people sitting in your office and thinking, but people pushing you at the store to saying, ki, how do I measure this, throwing this problem,
Yeah.
right?
I would say 95% of metrics have come in that manner. including you, you've suggested metrics that you're tracking, because we want to provide the customer with what they are tracking, right? So, for example, this time to assist is a metric that came in conversation with the retail head who was actually tracking this metric, and we were able to replicate this for him.
So, Suren, a lot of people who are watching this episode will be very much interested to know what are the possibilities of tech in a store.
Right.
Okay, because everyone is trying to digitize and thinking about it. So, can you give us a framework to understand the tech maturity of a store and how can retailers think about it?
I would start by breaking it down into two, right? One is operational tech that helps with the day-to-day operations of a store. Second is the customer-facing tech that is used directly by the customers in the store, right?
Okay.
So in operational tech, you have things that were used to digitize the entire store. So the most basic tech that every store needs is a digital POS, which is your billing system. Then you have your CRM system that connects your stores and your central teams. Then you have inventory management systems and your ERP at the store level.
In a, interestingly, on the inventory, is this the one where the RFIDs and the barcode scanners come in?
Absolutely. So this is at a store level where your inventory system leverages technology such as RFID and barcodes to help do stock takes and identify store level inventory. We also have security tech like CCTV that has been installed there, CCTV attendance systems to understand what's happening in the store.
Okay. Uh, so CCTV is the system on which your Tango Eye system sits. Am I as it?
Exactly. So CCTV is the hardware or the system where we have leveraged that existing system and built our software on top of that.
Okay. So POS, CRM, inventory, CCTV are the basic things which I am assuming at least 90% of the modern retailers have. In fact, 100% of the modern retailers will be having.
This came about in the digitization phase.
The first phase of digitization.
Yeah.
Mm. I'll tell you one interesting thing on digitization. I was working, I was talking to one of the chief digital officers in a company, and that time I used to be purely in analytics, and analytics was a digitization initiative also. And they say we are working on a lot of digital projects. So I said, okay, what is the biggest digital project you have worked on? And she said, we have digitized the paper form into an online form. And I was okay. So then I thought about digitization is about getting normal things into zeros and ones. So the first level of digitization was getting everything digital or online into computers.
Yeah.
So from here, tell me what are the some interesting tech stacks people, especially for operations, modern omni-channel companies or the ones which you have seen are using.
In any retail outlet, the most important thing that drives sales is the staff, right? So you have basic things such as staff attendance, which can be your biometric level things or CCTV based staff attendance that help you understand the personnel in the store.
Okay. And how important is staff monitoring, Suren, in your view? Have you seen that? Like, is it a hygiene or does it really impact conversion?
I think there's a big impact in terms of conversion, but how you leverage that data point and that tool is what matters the most. Where I think there's a fine line between policing and encouraging better sales and performance. That has to do with the how you use that intelligent data as a brand.
Yeah. So I'll tell you one example which I had seen, in one of the brands I was working with. Uh, they had a store conversion problem. Okay. And when we dealt it, footfall was not an issue. All the operational metrics look okay. But the staff dwell time was little low. Okay. And then we went into it. It was that in the evening time, it was really down. The conversion was really down in the evening. And when we went more deeper into it, we realized, and when we married the attendance data into the conversion funnel, what we realized is enough staff was not available between 7 to 9:30 p.m. because, and especially on weekends where the footfall is little high. So that resulted into lower. And then we said, okay, we have staff, we have 2 people coming in. But then we looked, put the time dimension on it. And we realized that that store had a mix of 50% female, 50% male. And the female staff, for the right reasons, they were leaving by 6:30 shift. So the last 2 hours was manned by only one person. Okay. And the person could handle only whatever capacity.
Yeah.
So as you rightly said, you can have data, but if you don't leverage it to understand what's happening in store performance, that can lead to conversion issue leading to poor sales.
Yep.
So I think so. It's a very underutilized data, but very, very powerful. It's not only for payroll processing and cutting leaves and
Absolutely. I think this is around staff hygiene, right? Making sure that right from them being there till doing the right thing. So, Saurabh, we spoke about staff attendance in the store, but how do we also track what are the staff doing in the store, right? There are a set of operational SOPs, right, from setting up the store in the morning, the hygiene factors of the store, making sure the right merchandise is being placed there. So we can also look at tools that are out there for process compliance and checklists that have to be executed at a store level.
what are some elements which people put in these checklists?
This can be anything from opening the store at the right time. So are you opening the store at 9 a.m. To do you have the right merchandise displayed because you've just launched a new product? So these are hundreds of factors that are checked on a daily basis by many brands to make sure that the right protocols are followed. So the store checklist process can actually be very impactful when you look at it. It can be start with your opening checklist, which has to do with setting up the store, all the way to cash management. So how much cash did you collect? Was that uploaded or was that deposited in a bank? Did you have the right pricing cards displayed for customers that walk in? So these have a big impact on the customer experience, which in turn improves the conversion at store.
So what I understand is checklist helps in right consistency. So if you have say hundreds of stores, if there is a good checklist and everyone is just following click, 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 click.
Right.
So
Basically, it comes down to delivering consistent experience to the customer, whether he's visiting a store in Delhi or in Chennai.
yeah, I think so. When brands are small, they take this for granted because they are the founders and people are monitoring themselves. So
Right.
they don't realize these things of small things, the impact of doing many small things together.
Yeah, when brands are small, they are largely person driven, right? So when you take that person out of the equation, brands tend to face some challenges, and that's where these kind of tools come into play to standardize this process.
Yeah. Okay, so we covered a lot of operational tech in a store. Traditional, you mentioned POS, CRM, inventory management, CCTV solutions, and the modern tech solutions you talked about staff attendance, footfall monitoring and conversion, appointment booking, operational checklist, service QC type of things. Tell me some mistakes people do when thinking about operational tech.
Um, lot of customers spend months and a ton of time and money and energy in trying to compare and do a lot of trials, right? So there's a big push to get the latest product and try it in a brand or a store. But I think there is a lesser push when it comes to using that data in driving actions within the brands to actually improve conversion or improve service quality, where I think typically they get bogged down in the wow factor of the tech and not how to implement and drive change using this technology in a day-to-day business.
So you are saying that people take too much time to decide, try, and then not decide.
They spend a lot of time experimenting, and it ends up in somewhere in some presentation which never sees the day of light. But yeah.
Okay. Uh, I cannot agree more, Suren, because I've seen brands taking more than an year to decide. They said I did pilot with these three brands, but I ended up using none. So the power of small things is big, and operational tech, I feel, drives the maximum impact on conversion and sales.
Right.
While it might not be very sexy in terms of enhancing customer experience,
Yeah.
but it helps improve operational efficiency. That's why I think so. It's called operational tech. One other thing which I have noticed, Suren, is people don't leverage the data. Whatever these are generated, whether it's all of many of these are generating data, whether it is the CCTV, whether it is the attendance system, whether it is the footfall. The power does not come in when you're using it alone. Me being a data person, when you combine more elements and then try to make sense, uh, then the real value comes out of it.
Yeah.
So generally, pilots are only to check whether it'll throw data, but they don't know how to use it.
Exactly.
So
So, which has been a challenge for many retailers face, and but today the advances of LLM and Gen AI, you can actually put all of this data in one place and try to derive insights and actionable changes from there. Right. Interestingly, I don't know if you've seen the ChatGPT ad. Right. The ad itself talks about a chai store and how you can actually improve service quality and conversion at a chai store, which is the new which is basically the change that's coming about, where you can take all of this data and drive actions that could improve your performance.
yeah, it's like, whether you wear a Boat ka watch or a Noise ka watch or Apple watch, from anywhere 2000 rupees to 2 lakh rupees, you have watches available.
Exactly.
But they are just throwing data. And I generally joke, I wear a ring, and it's not the form factor which makes you healthier. Okay, you have to at the end take the action and
Yeah.
take sense out of it.
Neither the form factor nor the data that makes you healthier. It's more the action, right?
Yeah. So that's the sad part. But I guess many brands are doing it pretty well. Uh, and the difference is not the tech they are used. So it's
Right.
not the Apple Watch which is making them healthier. It is the use of the data in their day-to-day operations is what is making them
Yeah.
better. Before we move on to the customer experience tech, what are some brands or industries or examples of companies where you see they are doing it very well, like use of operational tech? And what have you seen the impact which is coming?
So we work with a large telecom provider in India, where they have outlets which are, you can think of it as customer service outlets, where we help them understand the SOPs are followed or not, where the service quality is primarily the biggest challenge for them, right? To ensure that all 2000 locations deliver the same service quality.
So, one interesting example on operational tech I learned from last night. I was having dinner with somebody. He has a tech company who creates solutions, and they were working for a pizza company. Okay, and that pizza company had a retail has an interesting customer problem. So many customers, for a batch of 1 or 2 days, reported that there was some weird smell in the pizza. Okay, and later on when they investigated it very deep, they realized that the cloth used to clean the table on which the pizza base is put and the dough is put in was a little smelly. Okay, so that was a weird problem, and they said, how do we eliminate this completely? So they were working on some sensor technology where before you put the pizza into the oven, they will put it into that. It will do a sensory check of the smell, and if it is all good, it will green it, and then you can put it back.
Wow. Okay.
So we are only thinking vision. People are moving to smell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
So there's a lot of things which can be done to improve operational efficiency, consistency, and all. So while this is the non-sexy part, operational tech, help us share your thoughts on customer-facing tech, because that is which becomes very exciting for the end user
Yeah.
or retailer.
There's a lot that's happening. I mean, I recently um, um, had an experience with Zara, where you can actually book your clothes that you like. You can book a trial. It'll be available for you when you go to that store. You go to a separate section, pick up your garments. You can go straight to the trial room, try it, choose to buy it. If not, just drop it off in any of the bins that they have there. So what they've actually done is they've realized that certain customers come with a purpose, right, with a clear intent to try something and purchase. If not, leave. Right.
So
they've
just tell me your
defined their
journey.
journey based on that.
So tell me your journey. You went to the website, figured out something, added to.
Website or app, you look at the products, you can add it and say, okay, book it. You can add it to your cart and then say, try it in a nearby store.
Okay, so basically you create your own cart for trial and then they keep the things separate for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, this could be very good for things like wedding wear, like especially when you want like they're like you want to try a ghagra or a suit and then put it and then.
Yeah, it's an extension of booking an appointment with the specialist, whether it's a dentist or a or any doctor, right? But it's the same in a consumer store.
Did you end up buying?
My wife, but yeah. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. So you mentioned basically it's an online research, offline try.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Any other example?
I personally also like the Uniqlo journey. I think they have made it so easy where you can walk in and basically browse and pick your own product and check out all this without having to interact with any store staff. So there they only look at the staff as a problem solver, right? If a customer has a particular problem, whether it be size or unable to find a product, which is where they come in. Otherwise, it's largely a self-assisted customer journey that they have developed.
Yeah. I think the Decathlon has also done that same. In fact, I guess there they have gone one step ahead that you put your phone, scan it through the phone, and then you can check out on your phone and then carry the goods and go away.
Absolutely.
But that bin in which you put in, which has an RFID tag,
Yeah.
and I guess still you need some staff, but that one staff is not per aisle. It's like one person can man 2, 3 checkouts and just troubleshoot people.
Yeah. The staff then become problem solvers and they can specialize in doing just that one thing.
And it's a training phase. We are also learning. So
Yes.
as we do 2, 3 self checkouts, we will learn and
Yeah.
we will be more equipped, and the tech will also become easier.
All right.
But that really works in, I think, so large retail formats, right?
Yeah, I've seen grocery outlets where the cart is also a checkout bin, right? So you can just you have smart carts that you put in your produce and you can check out right there and leave. Because typically they lose customers by the time they get to the checkout. The checkout lines are large, right? So that works very well in a large format stores.
Yeah. Have you been to an IKEA store in India?
I have, yeah.
So the Hyderabad one, especially the food counter. In fact, they bill you the food on weight, not on the quantity, like on the quantity, but on like it's the weight on which they bill you. They have a very
IKEA. I was watching a documentary on IKEA recently, and their entire retail journeys. They've innovated in so many places, right? Right from the customer journey, how they make you go through the entire store, how they moved the pickup of the product all the way to the end, then the adding that food court in within that store. I think it's a case study in itself.
and their app is also amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's consistent, right? So what experience you have in Hyderabad is the same as in Boston or New York.
I'm eagerly waiting for the store to open in Gurgaon and Noida. It's been constructed for 2, 3 years now. Like massive stores.
They're opening one in Chennai.
Chennai also, yeah. They have a small one in Delhi, but very, very small. I think so 5,000 square feet. They only do, I think so 1 lakh square feet or 10 lakh square feet. I don't know what's the number. Tell me something about another one on camera, which is try on. Your views and where you're seeing it growing.
Yeah. So Try-on has been a great piece of technology that a lot of retailers have looked at. Eyewear category, many people have been doing it for decades. Now, I recently saw, I had a chat with Dhruv of Pan Project where I went to their store. He's built an application that can help you not only try on but also do sizing. So it gives you're able to see color but also fit of whatever product you're looking for. And this I thought was a nice example of showing you what product looks good, but also helping you select which size or which fit works for you.
Hmm. So, Pan Project is the same company, na, where Dhruv is doing that cartwheel.
Yeah.
His ads became famous because of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love their digital marketing. Now their offline head Sharad, who's also a common friend,
Yeah.
who is also showing up in ads now.
Oh, is it?
Power Stretch Pants ads he was doing. So yeah, I think so. Try on is very good on camera tech is good in size, but I'm
Camera tech is good in style.
style. Sorry, camera tech is good in style, but I'm really doubtful in size. Assuming Indian men are more pear shaped, and how do you get the fitting right
Yeah.
fit? But it's a good one. We are talking about IKEA. IKEA has a very good visualize the furniture in your drawing room.
Yeah.
So furniture, in fact, in jewelry, I'm not sure if you've seen. The one big problem is ring size. So what you do is you put the ring out there, you zoom your thing, and then it'll tell you the size. So it's a like size it's solving, but it's not using the camera.
Right.
So you zoom and then say, okay, this is the size of your ring.
Yeah.
I've seen that in Jiva's app. So using it's like an online offline, you get the person to and then keep the picture.
Yeah.
Uh, I'll tell you one more interesting part. What I tried is for these podcast shoot. Na, in the beginning, I was very worried about care. What do I wear? What color will match with the background? So once I went to the studio, took a photograph, and went to a rare rabbit store. Okay, they had some 2-3 pictures, and then I put in Chat GPT. Okay, tell me which is the best T-shirt. Tell me 5-6 thing, and then it gave me. And then I showed him. He give me this color T-shirt.
Oh, wow.
So try on is and Google has also come up with this try on feature where you just upload it your and it'll integrate with Shopify and it'll start showing your
Sure. It'll show you the similar products are out there, right? Yeah.
so and it might go across brands in the shopping ads.
Yeah.
So they might democratize it to another level.
To where it becomes a search engine.
Search engine, yeah.
Yeah.
Find me the best fit for me for wedding.
Yeah.
And then it'll go across brands.
Yeah.
So that's when interesting. Talk to me about Endless Aisle.
Endless Aisle again is is a great piece of tech that a lot of cosmetic brands have used because format of stores have been smaller, or let's say you go to a kiosk, right, where the brand may have all the products in a larger store within the mall, or a different mall, but the kiosk doesn't necessarily carry all the products, and that's where I think it helps customers to understand that, okay, you can log into an iPad right there, either pick up the product in a nearby store or have it ordered to your doorstep, which is great for brands because you don't lose the customer, right? You are able to give him or her what they're looking for.
Yeah. I think so Endless Aisle, one good example of Endless Aisle I've seen is in Decathlon. Every product they will have a QR code. If you have a size missing of a color missing, you go click, check, put it on the app, and then get it delivered from the nearest store or from the central warehouse.
Right.
In fact, the biggest interesting part what I saw is on the wall they were like 3 cycles kept. Go and scan. They will tell you the price and they will tell you when to pick up or they will deliver it at home.
Yeah.
So especially if you have bigger inventory and you want self checkout, so Endless Aisle.
And today I think there's a natural impetus for Endless Aisle because a lot of people automatically compare online offline pricing.
Yeah.
So typically when you go to an offline store, you're looking at the website or any other platform to compare pricing. So if you're not there as a merchandise in the physical store, you have an opportunity to sell the customer in the online store.
So many companies I feel have hesitation to expose their offline catalog to online, but to me they are losing business.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, appointment systems.
Appointment systems, I think, work very well in a white glove assisted sales kind of setting, right? So, whether jewelry brands you want to go in, you're going in for a wedding shopping or something like that. You want to ensure that you're the right the right service partner is there, the store manager is available when you're there, or you're getting your eye checkup. and you want to make sure an optom is available when you go there. So these are great examples of how you can use appointment systems and interact with the customer before even he gets there, right? And that brings the customer into your loop where you know, okay, very high intent customer is going to walk in, and you can do everything to make sure that you deliver the best service quality.
Yeah, and yeah, you mentioned wedding. I think so. Wedding, especially when it's the main for the groom or the
Yeah.
bride, it takes 2-3 hours
Yeah.
minimum for one visit. And then you have to try, you have to check. Then the family will do. You click picture, you'll send it to your partner, and then
Yeah.
they will give input.
It's
So
also coordinating and bringing a larger group of people with you.
and then
Right.
you have only 6-7 stylists available in the trial rooms.
Right.
So if it's a more high touch, as you said, assisted sales,
Yeah.
then appointment systems become critical. The question which is coming to my mind, Suren, is there are so many systems with disability, almost like 15 systems you need in store tech.
Mm.
Doesn't the retailer get mad just coordinating with so many vendors to get it right?
Well, that's where we hopefully have people like you. That's where we bring in an intelligence layer, right? Where you worked a lot on this, so you can also shed some light here. But I think these systems end up being data point or intelligence layers, right? Now you have to develop an action layer which crunches all of this together and tells you, okay, your next product launch should be in this store in this format to achieve the highest AOV or sales conversion that you can possibly achieve, right? I think that's the drop off that's happening today, where we need to plug the gap as retailers.
Yeah, I think so. What is needed is a very strong retail OS system, much beyond POS and regular CRM.
Right.
You are definitely plugging in 4-5 such items. So, Suren, you have seen a lot of brands operate operational tech, customer facing tech in India and abroad. Okay. What is the difference you see in the mindset of the retailers or the customer behavior between India and abroad? This any observations you have seen?
I think the purchase intent is the one that strikes out to me. We in abroad, I think purchase intents are slightly higher when they take the time to walk into a store, and it's almost an effort on the customer's part. And in India, I think sometimes uh, we do a lot of window shopping as well as price comparison. I think uh, so, which is where customer assistance and customer service becomes very important, so that you ensure that the walk-ins are getting the best, right?
So what you're saying is Indian customers are more value seeking, so they will check, check, compare, research, and then decide.
I think Indian customers expect more from the brand.
More value.
Yeah, they expect more in general from the brand, whether it's value, service, support, whatever it be.
And is this you're talking about the end customer or you're talking about brand owners or brand management who's buying these tech solutions?
I think end customers as well.
And what do you think about the adoption of this in the brands?
Mm, Um, Brands are very cautious of this. I think brands have understand that psyche and that mindset very well, which has percolated into how they operate the business as well. Uh,
How do you see people perceive data privacy in this view of all these tech we are using? We are putting more tech. We are putting camera.
Yeah.
We are putting different things into it.
I think now retailers and brands are also aware that more doesn't always equal to more conversion, right? So more touch points and more messages doesn't always equal to more conversion, which is all about privacy, right? Making sure if a customer trusts you with the personal data, right, whether it is phone number or any identifiable information, they expect that y- I'm I'm giving you my loyalty. You give me offers and things that are relevant to me. I think brands today understand that and are doing good on that part, and taking a lot of steps to ensure customer privacy is protected.
Yeah, and I think so. Government is also making a huge
Yeah.
effort, whether it's GDPR or DTPI in India.
Yeah.
So all those are also pushing
In place.
in place. So Suren, tell me one thing: how is AI impacting store tech? Definitely, AI comes in camera systems and all, but is AI helping build these solutions much faster?
Yeah.
And how do you see it used in Tango, and how do you see for you to get competition developed for you?
So far, I think AI has been in the layer where data collection has happened, right? So we've used AI to collect video data or voice data, or collect the logistics data that is there in a brand operation. Now we're seeing AI being used in the decisioning layer, where you use all of this data, put a decision engine on top or an operating engine on top, which can help you make decisions, right? And this can be like your day-to-day decisions. How many people should I staff this particular store with? What time of the day should I open my store? What time of the day should I be closing the store? What You have limited shelf space. What products do you place where within a store? All of these decisions are now being assisted by AI, and that's the aha moment that's going to come about, where you can now start leveraging this data that you built up so far.
Yeah. You mentioned voice data, Suren. Can you tell us some use cases of voice data and how it helps brands?
Yeah. Um, we've seen brands understand, customer problems. So you have scenarios where particular merchandise, particular product didn't, suit their fit, or they don't like the color. They're able to identify product level problems from these clippets or voice notes that are available. Or you can also look at, or we've seen scenarios where customer interaction went in a wrong way. So basically, you had a mistake in the store that could eventually lead to an escalation, but it doesn't end up there because you're unaware of that particular interaction. Where now we're able to bring that interaction into a system where you can make a change based on that.
Yeah. So I think so. What I understand is brands want to understand why did the customer not buy or what was the issue they are facing.
Yeah,
The old way is to fill a long survey,
yeah,
and generally the answer is D.
yeah.
But the voice gives us more unstructured way of raw conversations, which the customers are sharing feedback, and then you plug it back into your decision engine.
It's a window into what the customer is thinking, because you are able to understand conversation with the staff to see, is it, is there a product issue, is there a pricing issue, or is there some sort of a service quality issue.
Yeah. So one thing which we worked with two, three brands is on conversation analyzer, which was more about you have customer conversations on video calls or on IVR calls on different places in the store also, and putting it all together and then figuring out training opportunities for the staff to do better. Did they ask the right questions? Did they answer it well? Did they offer assistance? Did they take some information back from the customer to follow up back?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of information there already available, but conversation quality, if the staff improves, you can really make the sale better.
Yeah. Those are also training related examples, right? Scenarios. There are also ton of, corrective measures that can happen based on that insight. For example, particular customer came in, didn't find the product because he was looking for a blue color shirt, whereas it wasn't available. You can potentially retarget, right? If the manager knows who the customer is, we've gotten a check-in where we know the customer's phone number. You can say, hey, now the shirt that you're looking for is now available, right? So it gives you a lot more levers to pull.
Yeah, especially you generally have the online footfall, but if you get the physical touch point, and then you are able to marry it with the customer data, you can
Absolutely.
really scale the omni-channel journey. Two areas which I've also seen AI used a lot today is interviews and hiring.
Mhm. Right.
Are you seeing that happening in offline retail also?
I think, wherever you have the need to do large scale interviews and hiring, right? We've all seen the challenges in that to drive a funnel of consistent pool of
Very
talent, right? I think brands that need to do that in mass quantity can definitely leverage this technology.
Yeah. In fact, one of my friends, he goes to engineering campuses. He's the founder of Polestar Analytics. This time he was telling that they only had AI interviews. They hired 10 people, engineering graduates. They did 150 interviews, 3 rounds, technical, behavioral, and aptitude. All 3 rounds were done through AI, video AI. And he was saying ki when I was looking at the recordings, I was amazed the kind of questions it was asking.
Yeah.
So,
And the level of filtering that an AI interview process can do is just incredible.
amazing. I'm scared, yeah. Later on, it will be an AI agent interviewing another AI agent.
Yeah.
So I visited India AI Summit recently. Last week only it was there in Delhi. So there was this cartoon very interesting that a microwave is talking to a washing machine, and washing machine is saying that someday microwave will take away my job. So Suren, it's interesting to know how AI is used in multiple sets of the
Mm.
retail tech ecosystem. So many of the people who might be watching our podcast would be getting ideas ki can I build this tech for retail, that tech. I know it will invite competition in some area, but if you look at your experience and what is that you will advise them, what can they learn from it to build tech systems for modern omni-channel retailers?
So I think challenging problems doesn't necessarily need large solutions to be built, right? There are small solutions that can solve large problems. I think we should try and focus on that, especially over the last few years. We've seen AI doing so much more, right? We were slightly early to the curve, where we were still developing technology as well as product. Now, I think you can build small solutions, quick solutions for very large problems, which is the advantage that you have in when you're building today. And you can also build much faster and with a lot more scale. But the critical thing is to ensure that whoever you're selling to, for example, in our case, we were selling to storefronts as well. So our customers were central teams, but also thousands of outlets out there. So we have to make sure that we build where we are able to scale very quickly, and we are satisfying or we are meeting all the requirements at every level, whether it be at a store level or central team levels.
Okay. And what are some mistakes people make while building?
Think the biggest mistake, and I think a lot of people have talked about this, is as engineers, as product people, we are thrilled and enthusiastic by what we are building, but we miss to see what is the real value from a customer standpoint, right? Because when you sit in front of a customer, they don't care that you're using AI or a hamster in the background to do the job, as long as that particular product is able to deliver for them, right? So they have a need, and if the product is able to deliver, that's what matters. So as engineers, I think we need to keep that in our mind always, to make sure that the outcomes speak louder than the what goes into the product.
Okay, so they are not much enthusiastic about which cloud model or which Gemini model they are using,
Exactly.
but they'll be like, okay, what is the problem are they solving? I'll just add it one level. What is the impact it is driving? If I just say that it'll take your conversion from 25 to 28, it opens up eyes, and that 3% gets you additional delta of 20% revenue. Your story is sold. Now you just do a POC to show
Yeah.
how it's done, and then take a fraction of it.
Right.
So that's amazing. So let's come to the last section, and this is my favorite part. Two questions I have. What's one brand which is might not be your customer and not a very popular brand you are really inspired about and you might have discovered and you say, yeah, sort of this is one thing you should try.
Mm. Um, I've recently become a parent, so
Congratulations.
one thing, I didn't realize the level of engineering and the number of products in this space. So when we were looking for cribs, uh, came across a crib that is a smart crib, right? So it has a camera, it has sensors there, which gives you a set of alerts and all of that, called Cradlewise. And we were doing a lot of research into this topic, and I found that they're basically marrying AI tech and the traditional crib, which I found very interesting.
So it's an Indian company?
Yeah, it's an Indian company.
And generally, how much is the crib costing?
Fairly expensive. It's about almost 2 lakhs. Yeah.
Okay. And what's the you like? What is the tech feature in it? You mentioned
It helps you detect when your baby is awake. It helps you detect basic health monitoring, like heartbeat and all of that.
heartbeat also. So is it a touch or like on the?
So it has a sensor that one, it has camera sensors. It also has sensors at the mattress level, which can detect movement, which can detect basic breathing and heart rate.
So looks very amazing. I have two sons. They have crossed 10 and I do plan another third one. But definitely people watching this will be very really inspired. The next question I have, you are in this exciting space or too exciting space of tech and AI. How do you keep yourself updated, Suren, and what's your mantra to keep learning and reinventing yourself?
I think that is a challenge more relevant than ever before now, with so much happening. And what I found helpful is just spending 30 minutes in a day, or at least couple of days, to just do some research on your own, right? This can be your own interaction with any AI chat, or you can also pick up a particular tool and just try it out, right? Um, Take any tool that's out there that's making a lot of headlines, and personally experience it, because what this does is helps you use that technology in your day-to-day lives, as well as think about how to implement in your product or whatever you may be building.
So, how much time do you spend reading and learning on this?
I do spend at least 30 minutes a day, and I dedicate some part of my Saturdays to do a bit of this. So one thing I'm doing now is just taking a Clawbot example. So where I'm putting up a dedicated computer that will start doing set of actions for me. And the goal is to get this to be a personal assistant to do follow-up conversations or follow-up tasks that I want to do.
So, how far you have built it?
Uh, the privacy concerns are a bit of a challenge,
Scary
right?
part.
So it's a scary point. So I tried this on my own the system, where then I realized, okay, I need to backtrack and create a dedicated identity for it, so it doesn't end up doing everything under my name. So I've created a separate email and phone number, which will then start acting as the assistant.
I think so. This is something which is very much in news. I feel with so much of our dependency on Google ecosystem, once Google builds it in its own firewall, it will be very effective.
All right, right. Yeah. And I think the power here is coming with the integrations that it's able to deliver, right? So you have agents that can do a lot of the thinking and give you those insights or data points. But now you have agents that can connect between two applications, or two things that can actually execute an action, right? You have, your conversations with ChatGPT or Perplexity used to be around data discovery. Now you can say, okay, book me a ticket or do this particular task, which is exciting.
Okay, I'll try it. I have to visit Bombay sometime this week. I'll see what the agent can do for me. Can it find me cheaper flights and hotels to my preference?
Yeah.
Looking at my historical data. Yeah. So what I have been trying, Suren, I'll share, so as I'm doing these podcasts, I have to read a lot about people and do it. So one is an open research. Okay, go to chatbot and say I'm having a podcast with Suren, help me do blah blah blah. The other thing which I'm doing, people who have already have a lot of digital footprint, what I do is I go to Notebook LN. Okay, I put in there all the videos which they have done, all the videos and stuff, and they have also added one feature that okay, discover more content about the similar topic. So it makes your notebook very clean, and then it throws out a PPT, it throws out this. But the most interesting thing which I like is a mind map, and I've been blown away with mind maps now. It creates a very simple chart to say, okay, these are the 5 things he's saying, this is the learning and all, and it creates a visual chart. Take a printout, use it, and then it's done. So my
I-
end
I love to try that sometime. Yeah.
and my end output is a mind map because it makes lot of complex information simple. And why mind maps works better than straight notes is, our brain is like neurons, filled with neurons. Okay, it's made of neurons, and neurons have a central node and has tentacles, and then tentacles connect with another tentacles and all. So our mind is like a mind map, and if we create it, it's easy to consume a lot of information together. So, Suren, it was great having a deep chat on store tech, omni-channel tech, customer flows. I learned a lot, especially how the store conversion is done, understanding about operational tech versus customer-facing tech, and how AI can be used in this area. I loved the conversation, and hopefully people will find useful and get ideas to create some companies around this area. And all the best for Tango Eye, and looking forward to learning from you more.
Thanks, Saurabh. Thanks for coming down and spending this hour with me to demystify this world.
Thank you for watching our Dilse Omni Talks. Every fortnight, we bring an expert in the field of omni-channel, from a deep expert or from a brand, and we share their playbook of success. This entire playbook cannot be covered in one episode, so it's an evolution. We bring in companies on the product side, martech side, brand stories. I hope you learn different things, and if you have questions, queries, please put it in the comments. Share your feedback. That really helps us grow. Looking forward for you to subscribe and keep watching our new episodes. Also, we would love for you to suggest interesting guests and speakers whom you want to see on the show. So thank you very much. Looking forward to you in the next podcast.